ourselves on Miramar with the match starting in 30 seconds. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And here we go with a flight path crossing Junkyard, San Martin, Hacienda del Patron, Craterfield, and ending at the ruins there, with El Pozo, La Corberia and Picado all reachable also. And to start off, we are back with team number 2 with Leora at the moment. And we are now seeing team 17 and 16 taking an early jump going towards Impala. And they are joined by team 13. And we're also seeing teams 20, 11, 3, 7 and 5 jumping early too, with teams 5 and 7 going towards Al Azahar. We will now see a couple of teams jump out to go towards San Martin and Hacienda for the Golden Cup. And here we go, and Leora is down and she has picked up an AKM and a first aid kit. Now, for those of you who don't use an AKM normally, it is quite a good weapon to use. The shot will hurt, but you need to keep control of that recoil. And whilst they are looting, if we have a quick look at the map, we could be seeing team 18 going up against team 14 and 19 shortly, or it could be team 4 against team 3. And let's have a look at team 4 and team 3 now with Hazard. And shots are now being fired with Emil knocking Husky there. And if we have a quick look at the layout at the moment, we have Task Emil in this building just here. We have Hazard Husky now trying to get across the road, with Poke throwing smokes. We have Ferragamo over towards 230, and we have Cannabis over at 210 there, with Task White just behind, Marina and Andrex up high, and Emil top floor firing back. And we have Husky taking cover behind a car at the moment, with more shots being fired between teams 3 and 4. With Marina hitting Ferragamo with an M24. And that is Hazard Cannabis now down thanks to Marina. And that is a kill there. And that is the end for Team 4, with Task White getting the kill on Hazard Poach there. And that is always a risk that you take, especially on such an open map as Miramar. With teams separating so far apart, if one of them does get knocked, it does make it incredibly hard to get a revive there, especially when you consider being shot at by the other teams as well. But sometimes that is the only option you have, so you have to kind of balance it both ways and just really think about whether it is worth sticking together, whether it's 2 by 2 or 3 by 1 or another sort of formation. Just in case you do get pushed, you need to have that strength there in numbers to start fighting back. So as we now leave Team 3 to celebrate their small win there, let's move over to another team, and looking at the map, let's jump over to Team 16. And here are the 6th team going up ironically against Team 6. And I have just realised how confusing this may be. Grenade has just been thrown at 611 but not doing any damage, and Team 6 now appear to be pushing slightly, coming together as a group, and 611 is now throwing a grenade, it gets knocked from the window by BTL Royston there, and that is it for 611 being finished by BTL. And we are now looking at 6 Martak, who is on the top floor of the building here, with 2 members of Team 6 at 300. And more grenades are being thrown. And that is a smoke, giving Team 6 the chance to push up the stairs. And that is Martak moving the location and being knocked by grenade. And that is the end for Martak. And we now have 6 Michael. And that is 6 Michael finished off, leaving 6 Eddie as the last remaining member of Team 16. Rotating on the left side, and now smokes are being thrown. And that is the end of Team 16 there, with Team 6 getting the squad wipe. And let's have another look at the map now to see where we will be going to next. And at the moment, all the teams seem quite separate. We have Teams 8 in the top left corner of the map, needing to move in as they are in the blue zone at the moment. We have Team 18 just on the outside, with Team 12 up the top, with Team 7, 5 and 11 and 3 all in vehicles trying to get to the zone, with Teams 9, 10 and 15 closer to the centre there. Now if we have a look at Sunrise Apollo, it appears as though they may have just run themselves over. We now have Teams 10 separated into 3 different vehicles at the moment. look on the map, it appears as though Team 10 are driving straight for Team 9 if they continue on this path, which they appear to be doing now. And up there is Team 9 and Rav Reckless. It appears as though Team 10 haven't yet realised that Team 9 are up there. So they could now be driving straight into an ambush. And here we go, Team 9 start firing at Team 10. And that is the end of Sunrise Apollo and Kitsune, with their car being blown up by Team 9 there. With Plan just rotating around the right hand side. And that is the car belonging to Plan being shot at and is now smoking. And that is the end of Plan being exploded by Rav B. And with SW being the last remaining member of Team 10, I think Team 10 may be thinking at the moment that they probably should have just walked. And if we look now, Vape appears to have run themselves over with their own car, as we see it crash right beside him. I'm thinking that as I watch this match, maybe cars shouldn't be used in Miramar. I think the terrain might just be a bit too bumpy for the cars to cope. And that is Vape throwing a grenade there to end the glitch for the buggy. And is now stuck in the blue zone, is now moving in by foot. And now 77 is coming in by Jeep. As we leave them driving in through the blue zone, let's jump over to Team 11 now, who are just coming in. And we have Blue, who is in a pickup truck, along with Juan, who is in a Morado, and Manish, who is in a bus. And is just switching over to a pickup there. And the drop has just landed at Los Leones. And as we look down there, we have Team 3 going up against Team 15. And hello to everyone who is watching the stream at the moment. You may or may not be aware, this stream is delayed by 5 minutes to prevent the use of this stream for stream sniping. So although I know that some of you are commenting on the stream, although I do see them, I may not always be able to comment depending on what's happening in the game. But I will try to respond to as many as I can. And there was the LN Deadly getting a knock on Leora there. And we still have Team 3 pushing towards Team 15. It seems as though Team 15 could be retreating, but Team 3 are having none of it. Vape has just been injured by falling. And that is Marina getting a knock on Pernick. And 6T9 exploding the vehicle. And we now see Task Marina firing upon YKZD. And here is a small tip from your streamer. When you are playing PUBG, if you ever need to drop loot for a teammate, please do it inside. All another team needs is the couple of seconds it takes for you to drop, whether it be a first aid kit or a scope. The scope in themselves with whatever sniper or weapon they have and knocking you or your teammate. And now let's go back to the map. We are 17 minutes into game number 2. There are 44 players still alive. We are with Team 3 at the moment. And as we look at the zone, we can see an array of colours as these teams are very much spread out across the entire Miramar map. We have teams 8 and 10 coming in on the bottom left hand corner. We have team 14 joining them from the left side. We have teams 9 and 7 top left. We have team 13 top right and team 11 and 12 from the right. And there we see B4 getting the kill on Vape 77. And Team 11 are just looting their boxes now. And with 2 kills for Team 11, they are still well within reach of the win for Game 2. They would just need to keep an eye on the blue zone as it is now coming in. And although they have vehicles, they just need to be a bit more observant and start making their way in as they now have started doing. And now we see Task White and Emil getting some kills now. Keeping in mind they're now looting their boxes with Team 15 in the not so far distance. And it looks as though we may now have Team 11 B4 coming up against Team 13. So here we see now B4 going up against Zen with grenades being thrown, and on the left hand side we see 6T9 getting another knock. And more grenades being thrown with Zen Venom losing 50% of health. And more shots being fired, which is Vape Nix being knocked and Venom being knocked also. And we still have two members of Team 13, Squawks and Fallen, just up ahead, with Manish getting a kill there, and one just throwing a grenade near to Squawks. And that is Manish being knocked by Fallen. And that is another couple of grenades being thrown. And we now see Task going up against YKZ on the left hand side there. And that is B4 Wham being knocked by Squawks, and Squawks getting the kill there. And that is Squawks also getting the kill on Hilo. And that is it, with Team 13 coming out as victorious. And as we can see, the blue zone now coming back in. They will want to get moving into the zone very shortly, but they should have just enough time to loot their boxes. And now let's move over to Team 16-9 with Stone getting the kill on Deadly. And now Stone reviving Headmaster with Naruto just coming in from behind. And that is Rav Rex getting a kill on the left hand side there, with Euphoria going down. And it looks as though the zone will be the end of Team 7, with Stone just running out of time to use a first aid there. And now we see Team 2, Kitty, on her own with three members of Team A up to her left, and Teams 14 and 9 to the right hand side. And more shots are being fired at the moment, with Rav Rex getting sulfur. And now we see Team 8 supposedly going up against Team 5 now, as we look at the bird's eye view. And that is Broke getting a knock on T-Pack Hanny. And thankfully we now have Hugo back with us, who unfortunately lagged out in Game 1. And there we see T-Pack Goat just driving down towards 65 with Team 9 over at East. And we now have Team 8 coming in on their buses, with Kitty running in and being taken down by T-Pack Agent. is the end for T-Pack. And now we return with Team 9 just down at 115, 120. We see a drop just at northeast. We see Team 5 at north and 10, with Team 10 up at 10 with them. 17 over at 25 and Team 3 over at 55. More shots are being fired, so as we now join Hugo, we can see Hugo looting a kill box there with Team 17 and 3 shooting at each other at the moment, with Hugo taking shots at Task White. And here's another member of Team 5 just driving in. Big hello to Next Level, who has just joined us after doing incredibly well himself in Game 2. He has joined us with Team 5, Broke Hugo at the moment. We are 26 minutes in to Game 2. We have 11 players still remaining, and it is all to play for Team 5, 10, 17 and Team 5 is still going at it with Team 3, not noticing how close by they are to Team 10. And it appears as though at the moment Team 5 is so focused on Team 3 that they have just lost all sense of surrounding as to who's nearby to them, and the proof is there with SW managing to throw a grenade and knocking Broke Sneaky and getting a kill there, and almost taking out Hugo in the process if he had not moved away himself. And as you can see, Hugo preparing a grenade to throw back at SW. And that may be the sort of difference between a solo player and a squad. Because with a solo player, you just know from the start that you're on your own. And you don't have that support, and you don't have that person to get you back up if you're not. But with a team, you may be thinking that, oh, it's okay, I have my team with me, so I can be a little more careless. Because, you know, they'll be keeping an eye out, they'll be marking, they'll be watching, they'll be there to revive me. And I think that is where the complacency comes in a little bit. So I think teams have to be a bit more observant and a bit more spatially aware of who is nearby to them. But that does not matter now, as it is Team 5 going up against Team 17. With Titanium finished by SK, with a hacker going in and Hugo trying to get the finish. And that is the end of game number 2, with SK getting the win there with 3 kills. We have Raid, Broke and Titanium in second with 5. We have Task in third place with 16. So that is the end of game 2. If you have enjoyed this stream, please follow the channel with new content added daily. We will be back in just a moment for game number 3. This is Game for Nature Scrims. I am Ab Summer, and we will be right back.